It was supposed to be simple. Work hard, raise your family, pay your mortgage, and finally retire in peace. For decades, that's been the unspoken promise made to millions of working-class Britons. A promise that if you put in the effort, saved carefully, and played by the rules, you'd be rewarded with a sense of security in your later years. But now, in 2025, that quiet promise is unraveling one letter, one policy change, one reassessment at a time. The Department for Work and Pensions, without fanfare or headlines, has made subtle but significant changes to how pensioners are assessed for vital benefits. And at the center of it all, your home. Yes, the roof over your head, the place where you've made memories, raised children, grieved, celebrated birthdays, and found refuge is now being reclassified, not as a place of sanctuary, but as a financial asset. An asset that, in the eyes of the DWP, may now reduce the help you're entitled to, and in many cases, silently strip it away. This isn't just bureaucratic noise. This is a tidal shift, one that could financially destabilize pensioners across Britain who thought they were finally safe. Welcome to Pensioners Power, your trusted source for everything you need to know about pensions, retirement planning, and financial wellness. Here, we cover the latest news, expert insights, and essential updates to help you maximize your retirement years. Whether it's understanding pension schemes, making the most of your savings, or staying informed about financial changes, you're in the right place. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an important update. Now, let's jump right into today's topic. Let's start with a stark truth. If you own your own home, or are about to pay off your mortgage, or even if you've inherited a property, your eligibility for benefits may already be changing behind the scenes. Without warning, without explanation, without clarity, what was once a secure foundation is now being measured, scrutinized, and sometimes used against you. We're seeing increased assessments tied directly to property ownership, routine checks, letters with confusing language, entitlements being paused, suspended, or reduced, often with little to no warning. And at the heart of these changes, a quiet recalibration of what means tested really means. Because the DWP isn't just looking at your income or your savings anymore. They're looking at your home, how it's registered, who lives with you, whether you inherited it, whether you're planning to return to it after a care stay, and even whether a relative living with you might appear to contribute to the household, even if they don't. For decades, the British government actively encouraged home ownership. Get on the property ladder. Secure your future. Own, don't rent. It was a cultural blueprint, a path to long-term security. But in 2025, that very milestone is being turned on its head. Because today, owning a home as a pensioner could mean lower pension credit, reduced council tax benefit, suspended housing support, ineligibility for social care assistance, DWP reviews triggered by family support. And here's the twist, most people don't even realize this is happening. These aren't wealthy retirees with multiple properties or investment portfolios. These are working-class pensioners, many with less than £50 of disposable income a week after basic expenses. Asset-rich on paper, income-poor in reality, and now penalized for achieving the very thing they were told would protect them. Let's take a closer look at these DWP letters. Innocuous phrases like routine eligibility reassessment, change in household circumstances, further information required for verification. But behind that vague language is a deep, sometimes invasive, probe into your property's registered value, whether you own the title outright, if anyone else resides with you even temporarily, and whether that cohabitation could suggest shared financial responsibility. A daughter helping you after surgery, a grandson staying over during university holidays, a son visiting after a divorce, all potentially triggering investigations into whether your circumstances and, by extension, your entitlements have changed. And in many cases, the pensioner is never even told why the benefit was stopped. You're left scrambling, calling helplines, submitting paperwork, writing appeals, all because someone entered your home and the DWP system noticed. One of the most devastating developments under these rule changes has been the treatment of adult children living at home to support their elderly parents. What used to be a kind, compassionate gesture is now being interpreted as a financial partnership. If your son or daughter moves back in perhaps after job loss, illness, or to provide unpaid care, your benefits may now be reassessed. Why? Because their presence could imply they're contributing to bills, they're reducing your financial need, they're impacting household composition rules, even if they pay no rent, even if they rely on you for support, even if the entire arrangement is temporary. This subtle shift in interpretation has left countless pensioners shocked and often penniless as they wait for reassessments to conclude. If you're temporarily admitted to a care home, the DWP and local councils are now far more aggressive in reviewing your property's value. Historically, a 12-week disregard protected your home's value from being considered for care funding. But now, that rule is being tightened, reassessed, and in some cases quietly ignored. Even if your home is still occupied, even if you fully intend to return. The system now pressures families to consider options, a phrase that often means sell the house or take out equity. And if you share ownership, expect confusion. Your name on a title deed with a late spouse. The DWP might now see it as an asset to be shared, measured, and monetized. Imagine this. Your home is worth £220,000 modest for today's standards. You have £600 in the bank, and your state pension gives you £204 a week before deductions. Your council tax support helps. Your pension credit fills the gap. But now, the DWP says, you own a valuable asset. You don't qualify the same way anymore. Suddenly, that help is gone, or delayed, or reduced. All while you're trying to decide whether to turn the heat on, or skip lunch to afford medication. This is the silent crisis affecting thousands. Pensioners are living asset-rich but increasingly income-starved, and the system is beginning to punish that. But let's be clear, you're not powerless. Here's what you must do immediately if you're a homeowner and receiving DWP support. Update your records. Make sure your DWP file reflects exact property value, who lives with you, any recent changes, full documentation of ownership. Challenge vague letters. If you receive a reassessment letter, demand clarity. Ask, what specific change triggered the review? Are they considering your home's value? Are they assuming cohabitation equals income? Request a manual review. Automated systems are increasingly flagging cases without nuance. You can request a human caseworker. Seek free advice. Contact Citizens Advice Bureau, Age, UK. Welfare Rights Units. Shelter, if housing is at risk. Document everything. Keep copies of DWP letters, proof of who lives with you. Medical records if care or recovery is relevant. Council tax status, energy bills, and benefit payment history. Learn your exemptions. In certain cases, a relative living with you does not count against you, but only if you explain it clearly. Joan, 81 Kent. My son moved in for 3 months after surgery. I told the council. Suddenly, my pension credit was stopped. We had to live off beans and borrowed money. I only found out why after 6 phone calls. Derek, 76 Manchester. I was in hospital for a month. I came home to a letter saying my housing benefit had been paused. They wanted proof I was living alone again, even though I'd never left permanently. Sandra and Mike, both 70, Nottinghamshire. We jointly own our bungalow. After my husband died, they told me I might need to sell because his portion had to be accounted for separately. It felt like punishment for being responsible. Thank you for watching Pensioners Power. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with others. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you in the next video with more insights on the issues that affect the UK. Take care, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for all the latest updates.